Hello, everyone. This is CJ Gates, your virtual host for this morning's meeting. We are live and recording. Before we get started, I would just like to give a few directions on how to chat. If you do have questions during today's meeting, you can chat myself, and I'm the host, and I will make the chair aware of your question. On the bottom of your screen, you should see a chat button. It has a chat bubble, and it says chat. If you click on that, and then you can send a chat to myself, which I'm the host, and you can ask your question and we will make that apparent. So Mr. Drake, you can take it away.
County. My name is Mike Drake, Vice Chair of the Senior Council, and I will be moderating the meeting this morning in the absence of Gretchen Lopez, who had recent eye surgery. And I spoke with Gretchen yesterday, and she is well on the road to recovery and hopes to be back soon. So, you've already met CJ, our technical expert for today, and whose assistance is made possible by the Douglas County and the commissioners of Douglas County. And we are very grateful for all they do for us, be able to do this for them. Now, hopefully, you will have a pen and paper available, because we have lots of items we're going to be talking about today and of interest, and you may want to take notes on them. First of all, let's go over the announcements. We are very excited to announce that the Seniors Council is partnering with the Changing the Narrative Colorado, the Douglas County School District, and the Douglas County Libraries to sponsor an amateur poetry writing contest called Every Age Counts. The contest theme is anti-ageism and supports the effort to celebrate our age, whether we are young in years or young at heart. And there will be prizes and special awards ceremony. We are working on a comprehensive information packet that will contain a short video on ageism and how it affects our community, as well as details of the contest. This packet will be launched during our meeting on July 1st, and we are sure to provide a link to that at that time. Even if you have never written a poem, this is a perfect opportunity to try something new by participating in this unique event. So give it a try. I think you'll find it rather fun. On June 30th, from 1 to 5 p.m., the Castle Rock Senior Activities Center will be hosting its 7th annual Senior Life Expo in the Douglas County Events Center. And that's at the fairgrounds in Castle Rock. As many of the 80 organizations and businesses serving older adults have participated in the past, and now that we can get together again, this year's promises to be even bigger and better. This is a great event to get the information you're looking for and what you may need now or may need in the future. Be sure to check us out and combine the table that Senior Council will have. Look forward to seeing you. And the University of Colorado Anschutz Medical Campus is conducting a research study examining how inflammation influences memory and thinking. Data gathered from the study will be used to better understand how inflammation may impact brain health and aging outcomes. Participants are needed who are 60 years or older, who are in good health, and have not been diagnosed with memory issues. Compensation is provided to those selected to the study. And if you're interested, please contact Urology research partners at 303-724-4644, and their information is provided on the screen above. You can see. And now here I have an education update and presentation, and I'm going to turn this over to Tiffany and let her take it from here.
Thank you, Mike. And thank you, everybody, for attending our session today. It's sure to be great and informative and inspirational, too. But before we get to our speakers today, I would like to announce the next 3 months of our speakers that are coming up through the summer. On July 1st, we'll be hearing from Barb Boats, and she will be speaking about aging with dignity and at home. And she is from Visiting Angels, if you're not familiar with her. On August 5th, we'll be hearing from Jay Berger, and she will be talking to you about tips for staying at home, staying safe, and staying well as we age. And on September 2nd, we'll be hearing from Molly Woodhall, and she will speak about meditation techniques to continue on the wellness theme. And now I would like to introduce to you our presenters today. We will be learning from and with Elijah Valdez. She has been with Wish of a Lifetime, which is a partner of the AARP since June of 2019. Her title is Wish Lead, and also her colleague, Liz Lopez, who has been with Wish of a Lifetime for just since January of 2021. And her title is Wish Fulfillment Specialist. And I must say, when I was reading their titles, I was thinking, wow, how cool would it be to have either of those as your title for what you go to work to do every day, and how inspiring. And I want to turn this presentation over to these ladies now, and definitely please feel free to interact with them through the presentation, as they might be asking for your participation. Thank you.
Thank you for the introduction, Tiffany. Thanks everyone for having us. We're really excited to present to you all today. I'm going to go ahead and share our PowerPoint now. Can everyone see that?
Looks great, Elijah.
Okay, thanks. All right, so as Tiffany said, Liz and I are from Wish of a Lifetime. We are a charity affiliate of AARP. So we kind of work under the larger umbrella of the AARP organization. We're based out of here in Denver. We were founded in 2009. And even though we all live in Denver, we actually grant wishes to older adults, 65 and up, all over the United States. So what's really cool about our job as Wish leads and Wish fulfillment specialists is that we get to talk to people from all over the country and all different walks of life, which is really, really unique. Just a brief overview of what we're going to go through today. Introducing the organization to you, telling you about our mission and vision, the reason behind granting wishes and why we do what we do, the actual wish granting program, how to apply for a wish, how to have a wish granted, sharing wish stories, which is my favorite part of the presentation, is actually getting to introduce you to the different types of people we've granted wishes for and the different experiences we've gotten to put together, as well as our COVID-19 protocols and how that has affected our program, similarly to probably every program in the world, but how we're moving forward and how COVID has kind of changed the way we interact with our older adults. All right, Liz.
Yeah, so our mission is to shift the way society views and values our oldest generations. We do this by fulfilling seniors' dreams and sharing their stories to inspire those of all ages. We envision a world in which society embraces aging and the inherent wisdom that accompanies it. We celebrate seniors for their accomplishments and their sacrifices, and where intergenerational connections are a part of their lives. So we really like to have that intergenerational component as a part of each one of our wishes.
All right, I'm hitting next. Okay, there we go. So as I mentioned earlier, Wish of a Lifetime is a charity affiliate of AARP. As of September 8th of 2020, we actually joined the organization publicly, which was really exciting. It just means really good things for us, honestly. It means we have a lot more funding and a lot more resources to grant as many wishes as possible. And like I said earlier, we only grant wishes for those 65 and older. No one has to be terminally ill or anything like that to get a wish granted. They just have to be 65 and older. There are a couple other qualifications that I'll be going through later as well. And since our founding in 2009, we've granted over 2,000 wishes to deserving older adults all across the United States. And just a little bit of information about AARP. I'm guessing all of you have heard of AARP and probably haven't heard of Wish of a Lifetime. We're a little bit smaller, but AARP is the nation's largest nonprofit, nonpartisan organization dedicated to empowering Americans 50 and older. So they work with people 50 and older, and our program is centered around 65 and older. Okay, so before we get into some of our wish stories and the different types of wishes we grant, I really want to talk about the reason behind wish granting and why we do it. I know Tiffany said it sounded like a really cool job title, which it is. It's a really, really just empowering and inspirational organization to be a part of in what we do. But the reason we do it is to combat isolation. And I think this is just a really important thing to point out that probably most of us can relate to this now. Before the pandemic, I'm sure a lot of us didn't experience isolation to the extent that we do now. And so we're in a really unique position where we now understand a little bit better how some of our older adults are feeling who live in these communities that were locked down during COVID. A lot of us haven't seen our colleagues or our friends or our family this past year. And so we're in a position to kind of recognize that isolation and better understand the really dangerous and negative effects it can have on someone's mental and physical health. An interesting statistic that we like to pull during this presentation, which still shocks me today, is that isolation is more dangerous to your physical health than smoking 15 cigarettes per day, which is really, really incredibly insane when you think about it. And so the reason we grant wishes is to combat this isolation. And it's more than just this one-off experience. The wish itself might happen in a day or over the course of multiple days, but there are lasting effects that come with having a wish granted. And so every time we grant a wish, we do a post-wish survey and an interview to get that qualitative and quantitative data. And what we've found through our research with our wish recipients is that people report feeling more connected, inspired, happier, and healthier after having a wish granted. And they start to look towards the future and get more engaged with their community. And one of the stories I really like to share that I think showcases this really well is for a man named Ronald Maxey. I actually granted this wish when I was an intern with the organization before I joined as a staff member. And Ronald had really severe dementia. He couldn't remember the days of the week even. And one thing that was very clear when speaking with him is that he had this passion for sailing, something he had to give up 15 years prior once he moved into a senior living facility. And so Wish of a Lifetime was able to get him on an ADA accessible sailing boat that he got to go with his kids on. And leading up to the wish, this seems so simple, but is really profound for both him and his family. He started to remember the days of the week because he knew his wish was taking place on a Thursday. And so he'd be like, what's today? And they'd be like, it's Monday. And he's like, oh my gosh, that means in a few days, my wish is coming up. And so it was just really inspiring to hear that even before the wish was granted, he had something to look forward to, and that helped improve his mental health. This is another good example of what a wish can do for someone prior to having it granted. It gives them something to look forward to, and allows them to set goals. This was for a man named Dan who had served in the Navy, the Air Force. He had worked on submarines a good portion of his life, but that was in the 50s, and he hadn't been on a submarine in quite a long time. He wanted to see how they were now operated and ran. And so one of the things that was necessary to have this wish executed was that Dan would have to go down a ladder by himself of about 6 feet. And that was something that at the time he wasn't capable of, and almost put a stop to the wish. And so we reached out to Dan. We said, hey, you're going to have to climb down 6 feet on this ladder. And he's like, okay, you know, I'll think about it and get back to you. And we tried contacting him again, couldn't get a hold of him. Finally spoke with his nominator, and his nominator had said, Dan went to Home Depot the day you told him he needed to climb a ladder, and he's been practicing going up and down the ladder for a few days now. And because he had that goal in mind, and this was something he was so passionate about, Dan was able to climb down that ladder, and he got to take a tour of a submarine. So we see the effects that this can have on an individual, both before a wish is granted and after.
And each one of our wishes really tells a story, and each story is unique. Just because each senior has a unique story and lived experience, as wish fulfillment specialists and a wish lead, it's really our job to tell that story for that senior and really give a voice to each one of them, and you know, kind of share that with everyone else. These wishes fall into 4 different categories. The first one that we have is going to be commemorating service. So we really like to respect those that have lost their lives in the line of duty, and also kind of visiting this special place that holds meaning. One of our programs is a journeys or a hero's journey. This is where we take DC trips for veterans, and they have the opportunity to really visit the war memorials that were created in their honor. In the past, we have also been able to send a vet over to Normandy where D-Day happened, to kind of visit again this place where they served and such an impactful moment took place for them. And, you know, kind of honor them in that way as well. The next category that we have is reconnecting loved ones. And in this next year, we're thinking we're going to get a lot of these types of wishes just because of everything that's been going on with the pandemic and people not being able to share time and visit with their family and friends. And we really acknowledge the tremendous impact of family bonds and the importance of keeping them strong despite the individual's age, and helping them stay connected with their family and their communities and friends. The next one that we're going to have is renewing and celebrating passions. These are wishes that highlight the activities and experiences or interests that provided a source of purpose and enjoyment for seniors. In this picture, we have one of our wish recipients actually grew up on a cattle farm and was able to go back and visit another cattle farm with her family. We also like to mention that each one of these are very unique because it could be anything like hobbies or you know, activities that a senior is no longer able to do on their own. One of the ones that I like to mention a lot is one of the swimming wishes that we had, just because it might seem something simple for someone to drive down to their local YMCA and get into the pool, but for some people it's not as easy as that. So we really like to, I guess, learn more about what gives people purpose and what they enjoy, and then seeing how we can help them relive and renew those passions. The last one that we have is fulfilling lifelong dreams. And this one really is about breaking through people's comfort zones and experiencing something new that they might have thought that would not have been possible prior to even learning about our organization. One of the wishes that's really impactful for me that falls into this category is Elvira's wish. Her family actually migrated here to the United States via Ellis Island. And it had always been a wish of hers to visit New York and get to see the Statue of Liberty, which really represents, the coming of different cultures and people here to the United States. But unfortunately, she just was never able to make the trip until Wish of a Lifetime was able to help her and her daughter tour New York and also get to visit the Statue of Liberty.
Awesome. Thanks, Liz. So that was a lot of information. I just wanted to see if anyone had any questions about those 4 different categories that we grant wishes under. Otherwise, there will also be time at the end to ask questions. Anything? Okay, awesome. So those were the 4 different types of categories of wishes that we grant. Thanks for going over those, Liz. As she mentioned, some wishes can be incredibly seemingly small and simple, but still have profound impacts on those older adults. Other wishes can be more grandiose, like going to the Statue of Liberty. That's a really big wish that not everyone has, but was really important and one that Elvira had a really strong connection to. And so this was actually our first wish during COVID. And it's a turning point for the organization because from March until about August of 2020, we didn't get to grant any wishes. All of our wishes went on hold. We did a rapid response program where we helped get canned goods and art supplies out to senior living communities, but we weren't really able to grant any individual wishes. And so when we heard about Inky's Blumenthal's story, we said, we've got to make this work even during COVID. And so Inky had escaped Nazi Germany and her family had fled to New York. She ended up working in a bookstore and eventually got to go back to Germany and revisit and share her story with different schools there. She speaks 7 different languages, has lived in multiple countries, and just has an incredibly fascinating story and legacy to leave behind for younger generations to learn about. And one thing, Inky is this adventurous woman and just encompasses adventure, but the one thing she didn't ever get to do was ride in a hot air balloon. So what we were able to do was get COVID testing for everyone, make sure no one had COVID prior to the wish, made sure that she was quarantining before and after the wish to keep everyone in her community safe. Masks were worn during this, not during the pictures, but aside from that, they were worn. And it was a wish that took place outside, and social distancing was able to happen until she was actually in the balloon. So we were able to work with a local air balloon company, and they actually came to a park right near her community. So she only had to drive about 10 minutes. And then from there, she got to take off and actually fly over her community. And it was just something we were incredibly proud of and really happy to do because, again, this was our first wish in many, many months. And from there, we learned that there were other wishes that we could probably start granting during COVID. So some of the things that we take into account, and this is changing every day, and I'm sure this is something everyone can relate to as well, is CDC guidance is often changing. People are getting vaccinated, mask mandates are being lifted. So something that we want to make really clear is that the safety of our recipients is our top priority, and we won't grant wishes that we don't feel can happen safely at this time. If someone's deserving of a wish, but the wish can't be executed now, we'll place it on hold until we feel it's safe to grant. And so our organization has a COVID policy. We also follow CDC guidance and local guidance where the senior lives to make sure that we're in accordance with those. Masks, face shields, social distancing are all part of our COVID plans. And we actually have to get 2 rounds of COVID plans approved by our executive board before we can grant a wish. So it's something that we take really, really seriously. Most of the individuals we're working with at this time are vaccinated, and we actually booked our first flight for a wish this past week. Another big milestone for us coming out of the pandemic. that we'll be able to start returning to, sending people to Hawaii and to New York and different places around the country, which is really exciting. And any special accommodations, that includes maybe renting out a facility. So there was another wish I granted really early on in the pandemic where he wanted to go indoor skydiving. And so we actually rented out the entire facility for him and his family so that we could ensure that he would only come in contact with those who had tested negative for COVID, as well as the staff member there at the in-flight facility. So that's something that we can definitely talk about if it would make us feel safer and if it would make the senior feel safe as well. One really positive thing that came out of the pandemic was our virtual reality program. And this is something that's really exciting. We've tried to do virtual wishes in the past and it just hasn't landed or stuck well, but VR technology continues to get better and better. And so our organization has invested in Oculus Quest 2 headsets. These are wishes that we're trying to grant with communities. As of right now, I think between Liz and I, we've granted almost 40 VR wishes with communities. And this is going to be a good alternative as well for individuals, even past the pandemic, who may be bedbound and could never get on a plane. This is a way for them to be able to travel the world without leaving the comfort of their home. And what happens is it's still the same application process. It's still the same vetting process for a wish. However, we purchase the Oculus headset. We do the training with either the senior or the facility if they're granting multiple wishes. We provide souvenirs to enhance the experience. So you can see in this picture, this woman wanted to travel to the Holy Land. And so we actually sent her different souvenirs that you might pick up if you actually got to travel to that place in person. You can also reconnect with loved ones through VR. There's an application called Alcove. That's really, really incredible. And it's kind of mind blowing. I'm not much of a tech person, but I really actually love the VR headsets and they can take you all over the world. But with Alcove, what we can do is send out 2 different headsets to different places across the country. So if you have maybe a grandmother who wants to connect with her grandchild, but they don't feel safe traveling or they're not vaccinated yet, we can send them headsets, and through Alcove, they can see each other, interact, watch videos, play games, and they can hear each other and have full conversations and spend time together. So that's been a really, really incredible new development and a way that we're still able to grant wishes for those who don't feel safe leaving their home at this time. There we go. All right, so want to talk about the minimum qualifications to qualify for a wish. Minimum age of 65, you have to be a legal resident of the United States. Unable to fulfill the wish on your own. This can look a lot of different ways and we're pretty flexible with it. Some people could never grant a wish or make a wish happen for themselves because they don't have the financial capacity. We see that a lot. Many of our older adults live on a fixed income and doing anything that would be considered excess just isn't within their reach. We've also worked with a lot of people who have kind of like this mental blockage where they lack the confidence to go out and do the wish on their own. And so they need support from Wish of a Lifetime to do it. A good example of that is a wish I actually granted about a month ago for a woman who wanted to ride a bike again. She has Parkinson's and hadn't ridden in over 20 years. And her doctor said, getting on a bike is actually going to improve your health. And so we were able to support her in getting back on the bike because the last time she rode, she actually crashed and she was kind of nervous. So we hooked her up with a personal trainer and she got personal one-on-one coaching that gave her the confidence to ride a bike again. They can't be capable, they have to be capable of experiencing the wish. So even if someone has dementia or Alzheimer's, but we understand that that experience will be impactful for them in that moment, even if maybe they can't remember it a day or 2 later, that still means that they're capable of experiencing the wish. If someone, for instance, is bedbound and they want to go skydiving, that's not a wish we can grant for a lot of different reasons, but they won't be able to experience that wish because they can't go out and do it. Another qualification is they cannot have been convicted of a felony, and they have to be able to obtain approval from a doctor. So we have a medical verification form that we send out, and they have to be able to get approval from their doctor. The skydiving wish I was talking about earlier, he originally wanted to go skydiving, but his doctor wouldn't sign off on it. And so we were able to meet him halfway and do indoor skydiving, which his doctor did sign off on. So we take that really seriously. We want to make sure our recipients are being safe on their wishes and that we're setting them up for success, and not sending them out on something they wouldn't be able to enjoy or actually be able to physically do. If a wish is granted, wish of a lifetime covers the following things. Once we do our interview with the older adult and the nominator, learn about their life story, we write a report and send that to our third-party validation committee. The committee then looks at the criteria, make sure they meet everything to have a wish granted, and then they give approval. And so once Liz and I receive that approval, we get to actually work on granting the wish and executing it, which is really exciting. And in that early stage, when something has been approved, we send out a letter of intent, and that lets the senior and the nominator know exactly what's going to be covered as part of the wish experience. But if someone's traveling to see a loved one, we cover the airfare. You know, for Elvira's wish to go to the Statue of Liberty, we covered airfare for her and her daughter, who acted as her companion. We offer a food per diem, rental car if needed, overnight stays. For COVID-19, we've been able to provide, masks and COVID testing if needed. We always provide a photographer at our wishes unless the senior is really uncomfortable with that. Part of what we do is that we tell stories, and so we want to be able to document those stories. And oh, did someone just ask a question? I just saw it pop up on the screen. We always have a photographer there, and then that allows us to share their story, but it also allows the senior those physical memories to be able to reflect back on. Passes and tickets to a special event. We've had seniors request to go to concerts, to different museum events, and so we're able to purchase those tickets. Souvenirs, clothing, companion, care staff if needed. That needs to be communicated really early on, but if someone needs a CNA there as part of their experience, as long as we know that up front and we're able to get that budget approved, that's something that we can also provide. And that's kind of the end of our presentation. As far as anyone submitting a wish, that can be done through our website, which is just wishofaLifetime.org. What we're finding right now is a lot of people are really interested in the program, but maybe they're having a hard time identifying a wish because the world's a crazy place right now, and it's maybe hard to think that far into the future. And so something that Liz and I can do is, if someone's really interested in a wish, we're happy to connect with you and talk a little bit more in depth about that and do a wish sourcing interview where we learn more about the senior's life and maybe can help them identify a wish if they don't have an idea up front. So happy to answer any questions anyone has, whether that be about our program, the actual wish granting process, anything like that. We're open books and would love to answer questions for you all.
And it looks like Gretchen sent in a question through the chat as well.
Let's see. A video of the wish for those with memory issues. Can you elaborate? Do you mean like a video that we've taken of a wish recipient who has memory issues?
And I know it might take Gretchen a minute to pop on, but
Okay.
I think what she's asking is if Joe has a memory issue and you grant a wish for him, can you actually video that event so he has it, so he can go back and relive it at any time?
Yeah, absolutely. So not every wish it makes sense to have a videographer for, but we definitely hire videographers and photographers if it is necessary for a wish. So I think that's a great point. If someone wants that video as a lasting memory, I think we'd be more than open to hiring someone to take film for it.
So Elijah and Liz, just so you know, this is Valerie Robson, And there are probably several staff members here at Douglas County on this presentation that all want to come work for you. So just saying.
Well, I think we're hiring, so go check out AARP.
No, it's an awesome program. And one of the things I was going to ask is, as you're looking at those restrictions, are you guys sort of looking at that on a regular basis as more and more of our seniors and even younger adults are getting vaccinated to make it a little easier for you?
Oh, absolutely. So it's kind of funny, but we probably check the CDC website every day, which I never thought would be a part of my job description. But for those COVID plans, like I said, as soon as a wish is approved, it's our job to get a preliminary COVID plan approved by our executive board. That generally means referencing CDC guidance for vaccinated or unvaccinated individuals and making an argument to why we feel it's safe to grant. And then before anything's actually booked, there's a more in-depth COVID plan that we submit later down the road before the wish is granted. So definitely something we reference a lot and take very seriously.
It has been an interesting time, but I'm so glad you guys are interested in making sure people are safe and well.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. So this is Gretchen. I do have a couple of other questions. How long does it usually take from nominating someone for the wish to be granted? And I know that might vary depending upon the wish, but just generally speaking, how long does it take?
So, and right now we don't have an extreme backlog of wishes. Pretty much as a wish comes in right now, we have the capacity to immediately reach out to them and do the interview. After the interview, a validation report is written by myself or Liz, and then that is sent out to the validation committee. From the time we send it out to the time we get an answer from them is about a week. So there's been wishes, and one of them was for Barb from Visiting Angels, nominated someone. She wanted to have, this woman wanted to celebrate her 94th birthday with a parade. Her birthday was 2 weeks from the day I got the wish application in. We were able to make it happen though. So we can push things through. We can in-house validate things if it needs to happen sooner rather than later. So that process of actually doing the interview and having approval for the wish can be really, really short. The time you actually grant it is kind of dependent on a few things. You know, if there's a specific event the senior wants to go to, that could be a few months out. So it kind of depends after that. But we move pretty quickly on our team once we get releases back. And if the senior has open availability, we want to try and grant it as soon as possible, is generally our outlook on it.
So the process is relatively short.
Yes, it can be. That can change. I mean, if we start getting in 100 wishes a week, we're going to have, we won't be able to get to all of those as quickly. But right now, our team is really, really quick to get through all of those because we're just excited that we're getting wishes again and that we get to grant them. So there's a lot of enthusiasm on the team right now.
And so do the people whose wishes are granted ever get to meet each other, maybe virtually? Or, I mean, is there kind of like a grantee community that's developed in any way?
Yeah, that is such a good question. But no, because we grant wishes all across the United States, we actually don't ever get to meet our wish recipients either. So Liz and I plan entire wishes from Denver, and what's funny is we might not even know what they look like until we get the photographs back from the wish, but we have been talking with them over the phone and forging this relationship. Aside from maybe our annual gala where we have local wish recipients attend, they haven't probably ever met each other.
So Elijah and Liz, you guys need a wish community Facebook page where everybody can log in and share their stories and meet each other that way.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that idea.
I think the only case that I can think of where people have met each other is if we grant wishes in like a certain community. Like I know we have a community in Florida that we've granted a few wishes for. So they get to meet there, and then of course like the DC trips and stuff. But yeah, that'd be really cool to have kind of a little community of wish recipients.
Mm-hmm.
I did excuse my interruption here, Elijah and Liz, but I did receive another chat. It says approximately how many employees are wish leaders and wish specialists?
So right now, we have 3 wish leads and 4 wish fulfillment specialists. 3 wish fulfillment specialists. And then we do have interns that we hire pretty frequently. I think they stay on generally for a semester. They're all college students. That's how I found the organization, actually. I was an intern in college. And then, I mean, our total staff right now at Wish of a Lifetime, I think has grown to 13. We were 10 for a long time, and now we're at 13 people. And I think we're hiring on another wish lead and a wish fulfillment specialist at this time.
And it
looks like you have a question. Do you guys use volunteers at all, or do you have a need for volunteers?
We do. So, Liz, do you wanna talk about this at all?
Yeah, so we have this, I guess it would be like an annual campaign, which is called Cupid's Crew, where we do use volunteers. I don't think we used them this or had a need for them this last year just because of everything that was going on with COVID. But typically that's where we have our largest chunk of volunteers help us out. And then we did just start out our field program, and they're going to be developing a model where we can use volunteers throughout the year instead of just like separated events like Cupid Crew.
Mm-hmm. So it's definitely something we're developing right now, and the hope is that our field operations team, which is brand new and came out of our joining AARP, because now we have the capacity to really focus on this, is creating wish champions and mission champions. And so these will be individuals all across the country who can either help us identify wishes or wish recipients, or if there's a wish happening where maybe we want someone on the ground there in person because we can't be there, we might end up using volunteers for that. So that's in the works, and we'll hopefully have more information about that at the end of 2021.
So if somebody wants to contribute to you all, just in general for wish fulfillment, how do they do that?
Yeah, so Cupid Crew is one of our largest fundraisers. That's where we also have the most volunteers. And that's a program where individuals can donate to help us purchase roses. It happens on Valentine's Day. We deliver about 50,000 roses to senior living facilities across the United States, and volunteers help deliver those. And this past year, we worked with the Girl Scouts who actually decorated cards and that we were able to send out. And so people donate through that. They like to purchase like X amount of roses, and that directly funds that program and then also helps us fund wishes in the future. We also have our annual gala. It hasn't happened now in 2 years. So one day we'll get to go, but I haven't actually been to one. And that's where we get about 1/5 of our income for granting wishes is at the gala. That's our largest event. And then people can also donate through our website. And now, again, that we have the capacity that we're a part of AARP, we're going to start this direct wish funding process where a wish will actually get posted either to people who have signed up for our emails or to our website, and people can directly help fund a wish. So for Gary's wish, he wants to go rock climbing. It's going to be $1,000 for the travel and the food and all of this. And so people can actually look at that wish and know exactly what they're contributing to.
That's a really nice way to make those connections between people.
Yeah, and it's something that we didn't really have the time to do, and now that we have like a fundraising team and all of this other stuff, we can really focus on that direct model for funding, which is pretty exciting. So I think we'll be launching that campaign in September. That was my understanding.
Yeah.
Any other questions? And what I'm going to do as well, and Liz, you can do this too, I'm going to put my email in the chat. And so if anyone doesn't feel comfortable asking questions in this environment, you can absolutely email us. If maybe you have someone in mind for a wish, but want some more information, you can reach out to us and we'd be happy to connect with you one-on-one, walk you through the process, or even help you identify a wish either for yourself or someone in your life. Oh my gosh, I just said wishofaLifetime.com. It's definitely .org, so just disregard that. I need my second cup of coffee today.
This is Tiffany again. I just want to say thank you so much for this presentation. It is so inspirational, and I'm really glad to help support you in getting the word out. And I'm sure that Mike will also echo this too, but you know, this will also be available for if you want to share it with your friends or family who weren't in attendance today. We will have it available on our the Douglas County Seniors Council's YouTube page and our minutes. So thank you again for all the work that you do and very exciting stuff.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for giving us this platform to talk about what we do. We really, really appreciate it, especially in this virtual environment. It's been hard to get the word out. So thank you.
And we can certainly tell you're not passionate about this, Elijah. And Liz. Just
In any way.
So I want to thank you for everything and presenting this. This has been really quite exciting for me to listen to what's available to the seniors. I had no idea was available. And to ride in a balloon or do skydiving after age 65, even much older in some instances, is really quite exciting to me. And one of the important things that I noticed is that this is helping combat some of the isolation that we see around. And I think that is very important to try to eliminate that as much as possible. And I'd really like to thank you,
Thanks, Mike.
Elijah and Liz, for everything you're doing. I think this was a wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I was a little nervous beforehand, but it's really great.
It has to be a special gift to do this, and I think you're fulfilling that right now.
So, Mike, are you going to apply for a wish now? Have you been inspired to apply for one?
Well, I've been thinking about it.
Yeah.
I want Mike to go skydiving.
I was thinking about a balloon ride, even though I'm scared of heights. I've been thinking.
You could go down to Albuquerque to the Balloon Fest.
And I saw that. I saw a lady the other day walking across one of the parking lots, and she was above 65, let's say. And she was looking up there and pointing at it, and I could hear her say, "Oh, I'd really like to try that." I wish I'd have gotten her name, and I'd give her contact with you. So I really, again, appreciate everything you've done on this. So anybody else have any questions? Any more comments on this? Well, seeing none, again, appreciate this. Well, I'd like to go on to our next item here, and I was going to ask that everybody mark their calendars. So let me read what I've got here. And it's up on the screen here. Our next month's presentation will be on Thursday, July 1st at 10 a.m. And I'm told that Barb is a wonderful speaker and a passionate advocate for seniors and their families. So I can see the information if you're on the board up on the screen.
Mike, don't we have a county update to share?
Oh, yes. And at this point, I'd like to ask Valerie to give us our county update. I've forgotten about that. So Valerie can slip in here and give us our update on the county.
Certainly, Mike. Thank you. And thank you, Gretchen, for reminding us. I just wanted to let everyone here know that my last day with Douglas County is tomorrow. I am retiring after almost 30 years with Douglas County, so I'm pretty excited about that. So Elijah, if you're still around, like I said, I'm maybe job hunting someday. Just because what a great program you guys have. But no, I am retiring. However, we have people in place that will be continuing to work with the council. Kim Smith, who is on this call or is on this call today, will be helping us, but I'm not sure she's on camera. She's going to be one of your main contact folks. And I believe Rand Clark, you wanted to just kind of talk a minute about the county's ongoing commitment to the Seniors Council, because I know they're very anxious to keep working with you all and making sure that things continue to happen.
Well, actually, Valerie, first, that was just a ploy in an email background to make sure that somebody on this call recognized you and thanked you for all your years of service to the county and to our residents and to the Seniors Council and to the wonderful people that are either on this call or are represented by folks on this call. I want you to know from myself personally and on behalf of the county how much you have meant to our residents in serving them, especially our older residents through the most recent years that I've gotten to work with you. And so if I could, Mike and Gretchen, on behalf of the county, take a moment just to thank Valerie out loud in front of everybody and tell her how much we appreciate her, how much she will be missed, and that we are excited for her and for her future. Of course, we will be supportive of the Seniors Council moving forward, but I wanted to take a moment just in front of everybody, Valerie, to express a word of thanks and gratitude and to make sure that everybody on this call had a chance to recognize you for all that you've done. You're not going to get out that easy, Valerie.
I
Valerie
tried.
didn't
I
want
tried
any of
to
this.
sneak
She
away.
she tried to sneak away, but there is no sneaking away when you've done amazing things for 29 plus years and had the kind of impact that you've had on our community. So Valerie, just thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We are excited for you for the next season. We know you're not going away too far. Although you may not be working for the county anymore, I know that you'll still be serving seniors. You'll still be loving on your boys and on dogs and animals and doing lots of wonderful things in the community as you sort of step into the next phase of life. So, Mike, thanks for the opportunity for allowing me to cover and say a word of thanks.
I just want to share that when I started almost 30 years ago, there were just over 3,000 60 and older seniors in the county. 3,000. We're close to 60. We're over 64,000 now. So I made it grow, right?
Like 2,000 a year that you worked for the county, Valerie. So
Yeah, I want to chime in also.
Yeah,
I want to chime in also and support Rand's comments about Valerie. You have been just delightful to work with, and you're so passionate about older adults. And I'm so happy that even though you're retiring and starting a new chapter in your life, you're still going to be part of us as our official historian, but also you're always ready to help us with anything we need. And you have a heart for older adults, and we just love working with you. So we will continue along with you in your next chapter.
Wonderful. I look forward to that, Gretchen and Mike.
Yeah, and I have to chime in too. I've known you for what, about 20 years now?
Easily.
She helped me a lot when I was brand new in the area after I retired. And a lot of the things that are going on in Arapahoe County and down here, Arapahoe County when I was with them, are a result of her. And so she crossed county lines at that time, but a lot of the things going on in Arapahoe was her idea, and she gave me background and the information I needed, as well as the other people. I can't really thank you enough for everything you've done.
Well, it's been done with so much love. I just have so enjoyed working with all of you in the Seniors Council and turning what was the advisory committee on aging into the seniors council many years ago, and just having the passionate leadership that you all provide to this group. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad you won't be going too far, so it's a different position.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Gretchen.
Oh, absolutely. And Val will, be chiming in on our monthly virtual meetings, and she will be part of our staff to man the tables at our events, such as the Senior Life Expo. And so you'll still be seeing her around. She's not going too far.
Okay. Well, we're getting down towards the end here, so you have to remember that our meetings are recorded. So if you'd like to listen to today's presentation again, or any of our previous presentations, please visit our webpage, mydouglasseniorlife.com. Again, that's MYDOUGLASSENIORLIFE.com. And also invite your friends and family members to tune in as well. And this month's First Friday update will be going out tomorrow. It'll be going directly to your email address. If you'd like to share your comments on today's meeting or start receiving our newsletter, please reach out to us at scdc.colorado, COLORADO, @gmail.com. And let me repeat that, scdc.colorado@gmail.com. And if you'd like to comment on our Facebook page, that could be at My Dougco Senior Life, capital MY, capital DOUG, CO, capital SENIORLIFE, visiting our YouTube channel for additional information on what we are planning for the next several months. And I'd like to thank everybody for spending a part of your day or your morning with us, and hopefully visit us at our table. And I plan on being down there at some point at the Senior Life Expo on June 30th, and we'll see you in person again. So unless there's any other comments, I'd like to ask you to fill your day with and always stay healthy and stay connected. And again, thank you for being with us. Smile.
And we are